What?
Hello.
Hi, Dan. So we've tried this a few times. That's why we're laughing. And we want to get it right this time. Anyway, so we were going around our room to try to see if there's objects that reminded us of you. So this is what I came up with. What are you doing? This is if you recognize it, my planning notebook from CCF.
Little black book.
Really, really crazy. But it reminds me of you because you stuck by us this past year in the leaders meetings and really helped us kind of think through a lot of what we're doing with Christ as our center. And that was really important because we did feel like chickens running around without heads. But at the same time, our hearts were there and we really wanted to know what God wanted us to do this year. And you let us talk the whole meeting, right? And let us plan and get all our ideas pumping and going, but you solidified it with the word and with your knowledge and with your wisdom. So I am eternally grateful for that. And you really rooted us and solidified our how things happened this year and all the things that God showed us. So I want to thank you for that, and it was really important, and it really set a foundation for us in the coming months and years. So really cool.
I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Now you know.
Great.
The other thing that reminds me of Dan is my music planning notebook, and
This is old.
yeah, it's really really old.
Very old.
But it reminds me of you because this is a reminder of when I started learning about music and stuff, and it also is kind of symbolic to me about what it means learning to worship God. And Dan, you were an integral part of that these last few years that you were CM, and just helping me understand what it means to be in the posture of worship, in the presence of God. And to be honest, you are a gifted worship leader, and so whenever you lead worship, I feel the presence of God. I feel like I'm in the presence of God with my fellow believers, my brothers and sisters, and I feel like my heart can get into a posture of worship. And that's a huge blessing to me because it helps me understand who we're made to be in Christ and in God, and why He created us in the first place, and that was to worship Him. So that was that's a big reminder for me. So yeah.
I think it also helped that you know how to play guitar really well. And you taught me how to play guitar too, kind of, and a whole bunch of us, and that was really fun. It was really fun. And something else that I learned from that was, since we were I got a chance to play with you in garage band for a number of years, and I liked that you were gifted in music in a way that it provided space for worship to really be the focus. In the center of why we were doing all that. And as we were looking around, I found this book called The Unquenchable Worshipper by Matt Redman. And in it is a description of the undivided worshiper. And it talks about how there's so many things that can distract us from worshiping God in our culture today and just wherever we are, and it's very easy to do that. And to me, that described Dan because I see him as very focused on worshiping God. Because when I see those connections with when you think of music plus Dan plus worship, all three of that is just worship God. Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I think about that all the time. We always talk about how Dan leads worship, and it's because of God working through Dan. So that made me think of that.
You know what else reminds me of Dan, but we don't have a supply of right now? Chili. You had chili before, right?
Yes.
It's good.
Actually had it at the last CCF thing at his apartment.
Actually, that was probably the first time I had it too. But I'm going to miss it because it was so good. And then the stroganoff. What? It's true. It was good.
Beef stroganoff. Good stuff. There was a time when he came and joined us for our Father's Day celebration.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. That's true. It was at Auntie Di's house, and he made beef stroganoff to bring.
Oh, he made it for the leaders one time. They call it the CCF leaders. That's why I had it. Anyway.
I wasn't one of them.
You weren't there.
But I still got his
But it was still good.
stroganoff.
It was really good. But anyway, we're going to miss Dan a lot. Yeah.
And his food.
Yeah, and his food.
And his guitar playing.
And his music.
And his worship leading.
And his wisdom.
And...
But we know that God has awesome plans for you and for Dan. For you. For Dan.
Dan himself.
Dan and Fran. And
I love that your names rhyme.
And we ask that God blesses you on your journey. And also, thanks for praying for us. I know whenever I went to your office, I would always see the names of us young people. So that meant a lot to me. Yeah. So, yeah, it did.
Cool.
Yeah. So, thanks, Dan.
Bye.